Before you watch Chapter 3, Leaving Home at 12, make sure to catch Chapter 2, Madeira Roots, to see how far Cristiano Ronaldo has come. From a boy on the streets of Madeira to a youth star with a future beyond his island. But now, the real test begins. At the age of 12, Cristiano Ronaldo was no longer a child. He was a dreamer, but not just any dreamer. A dreamer with a relentless drive that no one could stop. But to chase that dream, he had to leave everything he knew behind. The world outside Madeira was a place he had never imagined. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, would be his new home. But at 12, a boy shouldn't have to understand what leaving home really means. He shouldn't know that it would be months, maybe years, before he saw his family again. He shouldn't have to know how the city would swallow him up, make him a stranger in a strange land. And yet, it was all he had ever wanted. He stood at the airport, the weight of his small bag pressing against his shoulder, the noise of the bustling terminal like a distant hum. His mother, Maria Dolores, had been crying since the moment the decision was made. She tried not to show it, but every time she looked at him, her eyes betrayed the truth. This was not just a new chapter for Cristiano, it was a sacrifice. One she would feel in every heartbeat, every empty space at their dinner table. "Don't forget who you are," she whispered, her voice barely audible. It wasn't just a plea. It was a prayer that her son, no matter how far he traveled, would always remember the love and strength that came from home. For Cristiano, the journey was about more than leaving Madeira. It was about proving something. To his family, to the people who doubted him, to the world that had yet to see what he could do. But nothing could have prepared him for the culture shock. The Lisbon streets were wide and full of strangers. The buildings towered above him like giants. And his accent? It was mocked the moment he spoke. The same island boy who once kicked a ball between narrow alleys now stood at the edge of a city that didn't care about his past. Schoolmates laughed at his clothes, his poor, worn shoes. But the real sting came in the form of bullying, constant teasing, whispers behind his back. "You're not like us. You'll never fit in here." But Ronaldo wasn't there to make friends. He was there to prove everyone wrong. At night, he lay in his small bed at the Sporting Lisbon Academy, the silence louder than ever before. The homesickness hit him like a wave. The nights were long. His body ached from the training, but it wasn't the physical pain that kept him awake. It was the quiet, the loneliness, the distance between him and the family he had left behind. Every day was a battle. Not just against his teammates, not just against other kids in the academy, but against the fear that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't strong enough to handle this life. And yet, every day, he got up. Because giving up was not an option. Sporting Lisbon wasn't a playground. It was a battleground. Cristiano wasn't just fighting for a spot on the team. He was fighting for his future. He trained harder than anyone. He pushed himself when others rested. When the sun went down and the academy quieted, Cristiano stayed on the pitch, dribbling, kicking, running in the dark, every step a reminder of what he was leaving behind and what he hoped to become. The loneliness turned into discipline. The pain became motivation. And through every challenge, one thing remained constant: his dream. One night, after an especially grueling practice, he stood alone on the pitch, staring at the floodlights overhead. "I'll prove them all wrong," he whispered to himself, almost too quietly for anyone to hear. But it didn't matter, because in his heart, Cristiano Ronaldo knew something the world didn't. He wasn't just playing football. He was preparing to change the game. This was the turning point, the moment when his heart became as strong as his legs. But this was only the beginning. What awaited him in the coming years would test him in ways he could never imagine. And as he lay there, staring at the ceiling of his new room, there was only one thing left to say. I will not quit, no matter what. This was the birth of a champion. But champions are made, not born. If you've felt the power of this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for the next chapter. In Chapter 4, The Diamond at Sporting, Ronaldo faces a new challenge. His talent meets relentless work. But it's not just about being good enough. It's about being the best.